Like the way I see it is, or the way I had it explained to me was, if you were on an infinite plane, right? Like an infinite plane, and you were the only thing on that plane, and you were the center, right? Like in that moment, you're the center of that infinite thing. If you took 1,000,000 steps in any direction, you would still be the center.
In the same center.
Because all sides are infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no point, no matter how many steps you take in any direction, you'll always be the center. Because there's no way that you could be any closer to any end, because there is no end.
That's crazy to even think.
That is fucking crazy.
That is wild.
We've been talking for like 40 minutes.
I know.
Without them recording anything. It feels like we've done a
But it's good
podcast
though, because
already.
we're kind of like, we're getting used to each other's energy.
Yeah.
Like I like it. It's good.
That's how I like to start off like any conversation, is just talk with people beforehand, because it allows this to be even more natural.
Yeah.
You know, if you just get in a room with somebody and then you say, okay, have a 2-hour conversation, it might be.
I feel like with you, it would have still worked regardless. Yeah, honestly.
Yeah, thank you, bro. Yeah, it's been a long journey to be able to get to that point of communication skills. Like I didn't even know that was a skill to have. Like I know, oh yeah, you could talk in a well-mannered way.
Yeah.
But having an engaging conversation with someone, that's a skill in and of itself. Like how do you handle a conversation just when you meet somebody that you've never met before, or anything?
Were you always into like communicating, or like is this like something like you had to like?
If you told me at like 16 years old I would be doing a podcast, I'd say you're fucking crazy. I'd say you're insane, bro. Like there's no way I'm doing a podcast.
Honestly, say like I started taking music seriously like when I was like 18, I want to say.
Yeah.
Like right now I'm 24. I started taking it seriously. And if you told me early in high school, if I would be performing or just even like releasing music, I would say the same thing.
Same
like,
thing.
Crazy,
yeah, crazy. Like what do you mean? Like I didn't even know what a podcast was at that time. Like podcasting, what the hell? Like I had that app, the Apple podcast app deleted from my phone. So I was like, what is this? On-demand radio?
That
like,
was one of the apps that you would delete.
Yeah. I didn't give a fuck about podcasts. And then I randomly came across Joe Rogan's podcast on YouTube before.
Yeah, I love Joe
Rogan. It was popping off like it is now. He was probably less than 1 million subscribers at that point. And
dang, you were early.
Like, yeah, pretty.
Wow.
Now I wouldn't say I'm early because he started in 2009.
Yeah, but still like,
yeah.
He's like huge. Right
now he's such a big inspiration. But that first podcast, I think it was like Dan Bilzerian. I listened to that, and it was like 3 hours long, and I didn't know like a YouTube video or anything would be like 3 hours. What the hell is 3 hours long, right? Is this even going to be good?
Long form content is like kind of the wave now, you know, when it comes to like the podcasting.
Yeah. But back then I didn't like, nothing was like that. I saw 3 hours, like, you know, on the recommendations for YouTube. I was like, what the hell is 3 hours? And that's what made me click on it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know what it was, but I just clicked on it. And I was like, I love this. I love the concept of just getting to talk with somebody and having no distraction, right? Like no interruption, no like ad breaks, no anything. It was just a straight discussion.
It's like more of like a genuine form of like the person too. Cause like those little cut up videos, like the videos used to be like 4 to 8 minutes, you know, like that's just 4 to 8 minutes of like their, you know, of like hours of clips, you know, like this is like a more genuine form of like the person. You get to like really dig deep on who the person is.
Exactly.
Like, it's really cool. That's why I like watching podcasts.
Yeah. There's so many great ones now. Like I've listened to probably thousands in my life, like just because there's so many great conversations out there. Now you could learn about topics from experts. Like I've talked to scientists, I've talked to professors from like Harvard and stuff, and they've come on the podcast. And not only do I want people to learn about those subjects from listening, but I get to learn just by talking to them. Like I'm always like curious about learning about different topics or people's lives. I'm always curious about that stuff. So it's always just a fun time to discuss and expand my own knowledge about ideas and different things. So yeah,
that's why I like watching Do you watch Impulsive? Do you know Impulsive?
Yeah, I know Impulsive.
Yeah, no, that's like the podcast I would say I watch the most because they're weekly, and like I'm just a fan of like Logan and Mike and all of them. So
I think Logan just got engaged too, right?
He did get engaged. He did.
Yeah, he's fucking killing it now. Like not only has he been killing it on the internet side of things like YouTube,
now it's like the traditional business side of it.
Prime is good. It's
you
huge.
Like Prime?
I haven't tried it actually.
You haven't tried it?
No, I haven't tried it. No.
No, Prime is. I like Prime.
I've seen it everywhere though. Like I've seen it in all the like even gas stations now.
It's everywhere now. Yeah,
it's in all those places that in such a short amount of time too. Like they started maybe like last year.
It's so crazy because like the influence that they had before, it just like skyrocketed them to like it's
pretty
crazy.
Much.
Yeah. And he collabed with KSI as well.
Yeah,
like they're like he's in the UK.
I know KSI as well.
He brings out a whole new audience. It's just like such a smart move all around. Like I just love the whole business.
And now they're sponsoring like soccer teams and all sorts of other like the UFC. I think they
UFC. Yeah, they even have like their own like athletes too. Like
that's crazy.
They have Adesanya and like Volkanovski and stuff. Yeah, it's so cool.
It is because it's inspiring to people that create on the internet, because if they could do that, like if somebody can create a brand like that, and they started out like making YouTube videos, then anybody could do that. Anybody could create something.
Like, sky's the limit for like any creator out there. That's like what everyone wants to be nowadays is a creator. Yeah, it's so crazy.
Yeah, it's just a different world too. Like we don't really think of like that being a thing you could do. Like 10 years ago, we didn't think like that was possible. Yeah. Like to be a creator, to make videos full time, to make like music full time, like that was reserved for like special people. But now there's a whole wave of people that are doing their craft, whatever it is, art, making art, cooking, doing all sorts of different things.
Yeah, no, it's like, so like whenever like I have like, I want to learn how to do something, I just go to YouTube.
YouTube.
YouTube
everything. Yeah, I got a better education on YouTube than any school. Any school, bro. Like
YouTube,
I learned more on YouTube than any other platform ever.
Are you consuming TikTok?
I don't consume it that much because I know how like it grabs your attention so much that it becomes addictive. It's super addictive. So I put a limit. Like I think 30 minutes a day.
Oh, really? Yeah. Like you actually enforce it?
Yeah, enforce it.
I try, man.
You try.
It's just because like you're right. It's so captivating and like
if I don't put it, like one time I updated my phone or something and the limit went away, and I was like, what? Why isn't it showing the limit? I think I've been on here for like more than 30 minutes. And then I checked the screen time and it was like an hour 30. Yeah. And I was like, what the hell just happened?
Oh, speaking of screen time, man, my screen time is off the chart.
Really?
It's just like, I don't know, like, cause like I do music. So like I'm always on my phone, like either like promoting or marketing something, or even just like looking at just like videos, getting ideas and stuff.
Yeah,
so
inspiration.
Yeah. So I try to make that excuse, but a lot of the times I am just like scrolling.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's a balance to it. I always try to look at that stuff, but at the same time, it's good for us, especially like if you're in the creative space, to look at other people that you admire, other like things that to be inspired by. But at the same time, if you're mindlessly scrolling through like memes and shit, that's not really.
And that's what the algorithm throws you.
Yeah,
like, they throw you that.
and look, nothing wrong with memes. Like you could, it's good to.
I love it.
To just like watch it. But if that's all, if you're spending 2 hours of your day doing that, and you could be using that time to do something more productive and follow your dreams or whatever pursuit you have, then you got to become aware of that.
Yeah.
Like that, those things, that's what I've recently been doing in my life, is becoming aware of where I'm spending my time. Because if you don't do that, then just anything will grab your attention. You'll choose the most comfortable path, the most comfortable thing. And you might want to do a bunch of other shit. You might want to create some videos. You might want to create other things. But your mind's like, you know what? Just sit down, relax, watch some YouTube videos and whatever. Yeah. And you got to realize, is that going to bring me to where I want to be? And if it's not, then you got to will yourself to do what is. And some days it's easier than others. Like some days you do have to rest. Some days you do have to let go and relax. But other days you got to put the gas, you know, to the
it's
floor.
just finding that balance, you know, like I've been, you know, I like we talked about earlier, like I work, you know, like the night shifts. So like, you know, during the day, like I'm always like dragging, but you know, you just got to find like that balance on like what's like important in your life, like getting your priorities straight. You know, that's like, it's pretty much what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you were telling me, you work at Home Depot, right? And doing the night shifts and
the night shifts, baby. The night shifts.
Yeah. And I told you like, it's probably good to just have that peace and quiet. Like nobody else is around.
Yeah. That's why I do like the night shifts. Like, as much as I love like, you know, doing things like throughout the day and stuff, like the distractions are like way limited, more or less like at night.
Plus you have time during the day to do other things that you want. You know?
Like this, for example. Yeah, like at night, I'm always writing my music at night or like, you know, just like thinking of ideas. It's hard, but the thing that sucks though, everyone sleeps, so it's like hard to like hit up people sometimes. Like
exactly, who else crazy. Is up at 3 a.m.?
Yeah. I'm such a night owl. It's actually crazy.
Yeah, you're used to it now, so
I'm
it's
so
like
used to it,
just a natural routine that you fall into. Like humans are so habitual. Like everything we do is a habit, and we don't realize it until we're aware of it.
Yeah, until it's too late.
And even like simple things like the way you brush your teeth is super habitual. Like we're not thinking about every single stroke of the toothbrush because we've done it so many times. And if you know, you could try this. If you switch,
do I have a technique? I probably do. That's crazy.
Yeah, because you don't think about it. You're thinking about something else. You're thinking about yesterday or thinking about what's going to happen later in the day. But people could try this at home if you want. Switch tonight, whenever you brush your teeth, whenever you do, switch your hands. So if you're a left-handed, switch right, or if you're right-handed, switch to your left, and see how much more concentration it takes to brush your teeth.
I think I've like subconsciously I've done that, like, you know, because I'll be like FaceTiming like friends while I'm brushing my teeth or something. I'll be holding the phone, and I'll like, you know,
switch your hands.
It is like. It is weird, like breaking that habit of like something that you like didn't know was a habit, but then you like you switch up and you're like, oh wow, like that was such a habit. Like
everything's a habit, dude. Yeah. Our minds, like I think 95% of what we do is habitual, and we're just not aware of it, and 5% is what we're consciously doing. Meaning things like when you start to learn how to drive, for example, right? You're consciously focusing on how to start the car, how much gas to give, when to steer. Now it's all habitual. Now you don't know how to think about it. You're just going.
It's actually bad.
I mean, it's actually good because you don't have to think about it.
Well, yeah, no, like I'm just saying, like sometimes I'll be driving and I'll be like, damn, I don't remember driving.
Oh,
like I'm just so used to it. I'm just so used to it now.
That's tough. Yeah.
No, but like, I what is it called? Like, I get comfortable sometimes. It's like, so I always try to like switch up like my habits, you know, like, cause I know change is like good. Like you said, be change.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, I always try to change everything up, you know, so.
It's important to do that
because change is good.
Change is good. It's uncomfortable, but it's necessary.
I think, anything that's uncomfortable, like being out of your comfort zone is like the best way to grow, you know. That's what I've learned with the music, you know, like you can't make the same single song every time. Yeah. You always have to change it up.
Always have to change it up. And I don't know what about us makes it so uncomfortable. Like it's not a life or death change that we're making, right?
Yeah.
But that's what it seems like sometimes.
I know. Yeah.
Our bodies like have this insane fear of doing something that we've never done before. And it's not life or death. Like we're not going to die by making the change.
Yeah.
But
you think so. You think everything's going to go crashing and burning if like, you don't have it the
like
way
nothing
you
is as bad as we imagine.
Yeah.
And in our own minds, we trick ourselves into thinking that that's going to be real. Like whatever goal we have, I'm not going to be able to do it because of this, and this, and all the excuses come up. And what I realized is that's something that you have to face. Like those insecurities are what you have to face, and that's what will get you to the other side. It will make you a better person facing them than not doing it.
Yeah.
Like it's not there to stop you. It's not there to immobilize you and keep you in one spot. It's there to make you learn more about yourself. Like those parts of yourself only appear when you go for bigger and bigger things.
Yeah.
They don't come when you're comfortable. Like when things are going well, nothing really improves.
Yeah, it just stays the same.
It stays the same.
But like you're comfortable like that, so you're like, oh, I'm fine with this.
Yeah.
But yeah, you have to change, man.
And then in that change, you find a better version of yourself that normally
it always ends up that way. Mm-hmm. It always ends up that way. Yeah.
Yeah. You normally wouldn't go after things that would make you grow. Like if you were told that you got to face all your insecurities just to face them, you wouldn't do it. But it's because of the goal or the vision, the dream you have on the other side. Mm-hmm. That's what pulls you. Like that's what makes you go, okay, even if I'm going through all this shit, like even if I'm have to go through all these fears, all these insecurities, I'll go through it because to me, it's more valuable that I become the person that I want to be than staying the same. Like the purpose outweighs the excuse.
That's like one of the obstacles I had to like cross when I had my first show in May. Mm-hmm. And I remember like before the show, like, or like maybe a month before, I was like, oh, like, cause I don't like, at school, I never like, presenting in front of the class. Yeah. I always got nervous. I just thought I had like stage fright, but like, I was like, I have to do this. Like, I know like this is what I'm going to need to do to change and grow and get better with music. So I don't know, having that thought in my head, like kind of made me less nervous. And when I did it, I'm so happy I did it. Yeah. Cause like, I was like so natural up there and like, I know what I can do up there. It's just like all around, just like jumping forward. It's all about mental too. Like if you think about it too much, it'll like stop you from doing it. Yeah.
The best performers, if you ask them, do you think about anything while you're performing? No. They say no.
No, you honestly black out up there. It's crazy.
Exactly. Like whenever you're in the moment of something, that's when the best you comes out. That's when you have grace, as they say. And that's what you need. If you're thinking, like there was this great story of a choir. I forget who said this story, but somebody said a choir was singing during like a Christmas thing, and the orchestrator of the choir told them to like focus on this one note, and they all started focusing and they started thinking about focusing, right? So they started thinking about this one specific note, and it messed up the whole thing, that messed up the whole flow. But it's when you aren't focusing, it's really just a natural way. Like to sing, you don't have to put any effort into it, really. Like there is effort, but not in the like concentrated focus effort.
Yeah, it's just like you're just like going with the flow. Mm-hmm. It's just like you're relax. Loose. That's when it's like,
that's when the best version of it comes out. But yeah, it's with anything, like any art. I think when you're completely in the present moment, it's just natural. It's natural. Like it just flows effortlessly.
Yeah, I'm trying to think like of something that I've done that's different. Like I guess like working night shifts. I used to like work in the morning, so like just switching to nights, like that in itself was like such a change too.
Yeah,
because like I was worried about like not getting enough sleep or just stuff like that, and just going with the flow was just so much like I didn't think about it after a certain point. Like now I'm so used to it. Like at first I was like thinking about it too much and like time would go slow and like stuff like that. It's like
things that you just make up really. Like it's all made up thoughts, and then once you believe it, it starts to shape your identity. You're like, oh well, this is just how it is, and you get trapped in this idea and expectation you have of what my life is. Oh, it sucks. It's this, it's that. When it's not really real. It's not like all those are ideas and perceptions that most of the time are brought up by other people, other people's opinions of you, other people's ideas of you. And once you're aware of it and look at it, you're like, no, that's not how my life is. It's actually much better than that. Like I'm actually doing great, And
dude, I literally had that same feeling last night. Like I'm always in my head a lot. Like, cause I work like I'm just thinking about just random stuff. And sometimes I'll think about something that like I didn't do or like I regret, and like I get in my head, and just I would have then I get like a thought. I'm like, oh, you know what? Like I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like I think about all the positives. I try to think positive all the time. And I just think about all the positives in my life, and like that just like lifts me up right there.
Lifts you up, yeah. Because there's there are negatives. Like life is part negative.
It is. Yeah. And that's what I get stuck on like sometimes in my head, like all the negatives.
Yeah.
Just even like little stuff, you know? So
yeah, it is, part of it is negative, but it's not all negative. And sometimes our minds fool us into thinking, because once you choose a negative thought, another one comes and another one comes. And it's like all attached to feeling.
Yeah.
It's
And
all
each thought gets worse.
Yeah, exactly.
It's crazy. Yeah.
It snowballs into like something like this monster. And
and then you start getting like physical, like, effects from it too.
Effects,
like you get like anxiety, anxious or whatever, whatever the case is. And it's, yeah, but I just try to stay positive. That's like really what I preach, like in my music, just like me as a friend to my friends or whatever, or just like to my family. Like I just try to be positive. That's like, I just feel like that's just like the best way to live. Like, you know, find the positive in everything, even if it's negative. You know, I've had a lot.
It is always positive. That you could always find something positive,
always,
even in the negative.
Even if it's like the craziest, wildest thing, or like something that you think you'll never recover from, there's always something positive on the other end. Like I could list if I really want to get deep, I could list a few things that like I thought was like,
if you don't mind sharing, share
of
something.
Of course. So damn. So growing up, my dad always, he had health problems, you know, just like throughout my like life. I want to say like it kind of started when I was born, and so he was always in and out of the hospital. And in 2017, he actually passed away.
Oh wow!
And I thought that was like the downfall of everything for me. Like I didn't like, my dad was so loved by everyone. He was like, you know, I was like him, you know, like he was always positive, always putting a smile on people's faces. And like, so I always thought, I thought that like that was gonna be the downfall of me, just like after that happened. But it actually brought like me and my mom closer. My mom, she works 6 days a week. Like nowadays I hardly ever see her too, because she works mornings and I work nights. But it actually brought me and my mom a lot closer. And then me and my sister and my brother brought us closer. Like I feel like I'm like kind of like a role model to them.
Yeah.
And just like, I don't know, like over time I just realized I'm like, this was like, even though like we lost like a loved one and, you know, we wish he was here and all of this, but like, you know, I feel like just things just happen for a reason. And like my relationship with my family is like my biggest thing. Like, you know, I love them to death, and I don't know, it just brought us closer. It brought me a lot closer to
And you
them.
think about like if he was still here, it might have not been this way.
Yeah, like, you know, because I was always maybe like just how our situation was back then. It always led me to like do things I didn't want to do. Like I was always just out and about, either like partying or just like doing crazy stuff, you know? And now like I feel like I have to be there for like my mom, my brother and sister.
Yeah.
So like I'm more like hands-on with them, brought us a lot closer. And I don't know,
that
just
added
like
responsibility made you like work even harder to become the best that you could be. Yeah.
Exactly. And like it also gives you that like that what is it? That motivation, just like, I don't know, just I just like try to think of the positives and all of it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, look, you named like 3-4 positives right there.
I
just
know.
thinking about it, you know?
Yeah.
So that's so powerful.
It really
like,
did. Yeah.
Like that when you're able to see the positives, and even in the darkest of moments.
Exactly. Yeah.
And you might not see it like when it's happening. You might not see it, like you're gonna grieve. You're gonna be in a sad place, but eventually you'll see the light. Eventually you'll realize that over time things had to work out this way so that I could be in this position.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Yeah. And like what's it called? Like, yeah, just being in and out of the hospital was just so like
disheartening.
Like, it's just like, it's just so emotionally taxing, you know, like I'm just happy that like he's like in a better place, and like, you know, it just like that, even that in itself is just a positive, like knowing that he's like in like not in pain and stuff like that. So I always think of the positives in everything, you know. I always try to do that with my friends too, whenever they come to me with like anything. It's hard sometimes because like you can't see it at first. It's kind of like it comes with time.
Because it's easier to pick out the problem. It's easier to point out whatever's negative, because that's what might be clear in that moment. Right?
Exactly. That's the perfect way to say it.
Yeah, it's that's
what's clear in that moment.
In that
all
moment,
the negatives. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it might take a little more searching to find something positive, but I'd rather do that than to live by a negative idea, live by a story that might be negative, because that story, you might think it does nothing, but it influences everything else.
Everything, yeah.
Everything else, because the way we are is like we work on vibration basically, and if you have a negative vibration, you're going to take negative actions, and all that action leads to results, right? So that negative action leads to a negative result, and it goes in a loop. You're like, oh wait, see what happened to me, and
then you start like believing just like all of what you do is just negative.
It's negative, like, and it just spirals out of control. And so if you're able to catch that and move into a more positive field, then those actions are going to be positive, in turn affecting the result, and then that'll cause the positive loop. So it's pretty amazing what happens when you're able to seek positive ideas over negative, but it's definitely tough. Like, it's not the most simple, easiest thing. That's why most people don't do it.
Yeah.
It's much easier to stay quiet and just follow what everybody else is doing, because most people are doing that. Most people are just being negative, and they're not seeing any positive moments in life, because maybe somebody that they grew up with, their parents, their grandparents, or their friends all around them, their environment is just negative. And when you fall in line with that, then that's what you're going to be. Like they say, the five of, or whatever
the five friends that you, or five people that you hang out with or you're with, is like you're going to be the sixth, you're gonna be whatever they are.
Yeah. Birds of a feather flock together. Right?
100%. Yeah. That's why, like, even though, like, see, I like always have different perspectives on things too. I feel like what's it called? Like, yeah, the five people that you are with, you're most likely to turn out like them. But I try to be like that person. I try to be one of the five people that is like a good influence for them to hang out with,
Yeah, yeah.
So like, I'm like the outsider, like I try to be like that good influence. So people could be like, oh yeah, if I hang out with him, I'll
try to be the addition.
I try to be the addition.
Yeah. That's a good person.
Like, that's like what I try to like land on.
Yeah. And being somebody that, I think allows you to be not just accepted, but
just like a leader too, kind of.
Like, I don't know. People look up to you in that sense. Yeah. Right. Like when they think of you, they think of you as a good person, as a genuine person. And that's what you want. You don't want somebody to say that, everything this guy does, I don't even want to hang out with him. There's something about him, the vibe he gives off. I don't really want to hang out with him, but
I always try to be positive, good vibes.
Good vibes.
I'm always there for everyone, everything. And I'm always open ears to everyone,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good thing to have, because relationships are so important.
Yeah, relationships are very important, especially like if you're going through a lot of stuff. Like, just my friends actually were like a big part of me, like coping with just everything I've gone through. Because like, just like they're, what is it, like, just can't put it in words.
Support,
like their support, like just like how they are, like how they see me. It's like I kind of have to like be strong for them, but like they're also like they're strong for me too. I don't know, like I don't know how to say it. Like their support, I guess.
Their support, their support for you is
a good support system to have. It's like you're
so just, even when you're in a negative place, like they'll lift you up.
Yeah, no, I've always like like I've gone through like breakup and like just like other stuff too, and like my friends were always there, like for me, like
it's always good to have. It's good to have people around you, man. Like, I'm the same way. Is. Like the friends I have, like I'm so grateful to have them, because I know that they'll do anything for me, like anything. Like not if I'm down, if I'm not feeling great, like I know I could get a call from them and they'll lift me up. And it's not just like, oh hey, how's it going? Like we'll talk for like an hour straight and talk about deep stuff. And our relationship has grown to that point where it's super meaningful, and it's not just it's not just face value, you know, like we go like deep conversations about life and and talk about feelings and everything that goes on within ourselves, which I think guys don't usually.
I was about to just say that. Guys don't open up.
Guys don't open up like that.
I'm glad that my friends open up to me. Like it's good. Like I'm happy that they come to me with like their problems, because like that's just a sign of like you're trying to like get better. Get
better, yeah.
And
like,
I like
sometimes people just need someone to talk to. Like 100%. That's it. Like their problem is not 100%. Like that big, but they just want somebody to like voice that issue out, because they've been thinking about it and it's been going in circles in their own mind. Mm-hmm. But once they get it out, they're like, oh, it's not even that big of a deal. I know how to handle it.
Exactly.
And you know, if I have control over it, I could change it. If I don't, I'll just let it go. And that, it's like being a therapist, you know, like just listening is so important. Yeah.
Even with the music, like it's just like, it's a good way to vent, you know, like with my music, I always talk about just like, things that I'm going through, or like things I want to do, you know, or inspire.
Are you constantly writing all the time? Like if you have an idea, you just...
Honestly, yeah, I am constantly writing. Sometimes I'll go like a week without writing and I'll feel weird. I really will. Yeah. Or like I'll feel like an underlying like depression, not like super, like super mild, but like I'll always like feel weird. I always write. I feel weird if I like don't write, you know.
I feel like it's kind of like journaling or something, like you're giving, and you're writing your emotions.
I dabbled into journaling too. Like I have this journaling app on my phone. Like I've gone into journaling. I even like have this dream journal. Sometimes I'll write down my dreams. Like I try to do as much writing as I can. I used to not like writing in high school. I don't know why. I don't know what happened.
I particularly I don't hate writing. I'm actually good at writing, but
that's good. It's a good skill to have. Like, being articulate, it's like I feel that's a great thing to have. That's like what I want to like. I want to like learn to like be more articulate and like stuff like that.
And communicating, Because the communication is so vital, because how is anybody else going to know?
Everything's communication.
Yeah, everything.
Like what we're doing right now is communicating. Like it's just it's so crucial.
Yeah, and the written form, I think, has taken a toll like in a negative direction, because we're so used to videos and stuff now.
Yeah.
Like so. I think the skill of writing is going to be even more valuable. Like to people who are great writers will definitely improve. Like that will definitely outshine others because of that. You know, and
you like, do you read often or?
I do. I try to. I'm not going to say I read like a book a week or anything.
I try to read too. I'm probably like you.
Yeah. I try to read. I read recently. I read the book "The Power of Now" by Eckhart Tolle.
Oh, okay.
Have you heard of that?
I haven't.
You haven't? It's about being in the present moment, and that book, like, for me, it was so good that I read that book in I think 38 hours or something like that. Like in 2 days, and pretty much like 40,
what was
less
it called
than 2
again?
days. The Power of Now.
The Power of Now
by Eckhart Tolle. Yeah. So it's about the present moment, and I had people recommend me that book like a bunch of times, and I was like, I don't know if I should read it, whatever. I was reading.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
I always love like new book recommendations, you know?
Yeah.
A book that I just read was The 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. That was like a good read. Like it just like dives into like all like the spiritual laws, just like, you know, just like the laws of like how to improve yourself spiritually, you know?
Yeah. It's definitely like books like that. Self-help books are, I think, something that people are now getting it. I mean, they've always been into it, but like, I think our generation has started to delve into them at a young age. And it's been so beneficial, because those ideas are now like whatever you think about, whatever you're constantly putting your attention towards is who you become in a way. Yeah. And so if you're feeding your mind with these new ideas, these ideas about the present moment, ideas about success, those will start to implement in your own life. Yeah. And
it's so beneficial to everything. It's like it's just like a chain reaction to everything else.
Everything else, yeah.
Like with my music, like reading these books like really helped me on like just different stuff in my music, different like concepts, different concepts in like my music. So That's why I used to like not read as much. Like besides, unless I had to.
Same. Like, cause I'm used to the books that they used to make us read in school, right? Like it would be like,
I think that's what turned me off to reading.
Like whatever, Maniac McGee or some shit. Like, I don't even know.
The one that comes on top of my head is To Kill a Mockingbird.
To Kill a Mockingbird.
That's the one that comes every single time.
Where the Red Fern Grows, like shit like that. I was like, these books, I mean, they're great. Like, they're actually good books.
They're good books. They're good books.
It wasn't for me. Like, it wasn't like my type.
I'm more in the self-help genre. Like, I like those type of books. Or even like anything with music.
Yeah,
you know, music. I like that.
Yeah,
those type of books too.
For me personally, like, so I used to hate reading like you. Like, I didn't really enjoy it as much, and school felt like I was being forced to read.
Yeah.
Like, you would have to read and then take a test on the book or whatever. And I was like, I don't really want to do that. But when I was in 10th grade, I think I looked up like good business books, right? Like I knew I wanted to do something in business, so I just looked up business books on Google, and I found this book, which is, you know, worldwide famous. It's timeless classic called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. Ooh. And it's about communication. And at that time, I thought it was going to be like an okay book, right? But I opened it up. I was 15 years old and I started reading it. And the author not only shares concepts that you could actually implement, but it's written in a way where he gives examples about everything, like examples of how people use this in their life. And it immediately grabbed my attention. And I think as of right now, I think I've read that book like over 9 times.
Really?
Yeah. Like now I don't read it front to back.
You just like skip to certain sections of the book.
Yeah, now I do that. But before I read it like 9 times straight.
That's how like the 7 Spiritual Laws of Success. That's how that book is too. It dives into what the law is, and then it gives you like an example on how you could implement it in your real personal life.
Because that's what matters most.
That's
it's
what matters
not
most.
Just the knowledge. Anybody could read any book, but 100%. If you apply that knowledge, whatever it gives, then you'll reap the benefits of it.
The actual benefits,
and that's what I did. And so that's why I read it so many times, because I knew if I just read it once, I might forget a few things and it'll just be, you know, nothing will change. Mm-hmm. So I just kept on reading it because I wanted it to be subconscious. Like, I want these ideas to be so ingrained in my mind that I don't even have to think about it anymore. Mm-hmm. Like, one of the first principle is don't criticize or condemn people, right? So don't criticize. And there are better ways to help people than to criticize them. It's actually more beneficial, it said, to have positive reinforcement than to criticize. So if somebody does something bad and you say that they're doing something bad, like they might type out a report and it might have an error, and you keep on telling them, why'd you do this? Why'd you make this mistake? And that negative reinforcement will actually cause more error than if you look at, that same report, you could say, I like what you did here. I like what you did with this. And you seek positive reinforcement. That'll actually improve whatever it is more effectively than the negative. And it's insane. Like, those small little things, you might think, how is that going to like change my life? But it's literally that small stuff, small thing, like small disciplines affect your entire life. And it starts with just maybe an idea from a book, a video that you watched on YouTube. That small idea changes everything. Yeah. And so that's why books are so powerful. Like, I haven't read like a bunch of books, but the books I have read, I'm glad I read. Very
impactful.
You know? Yeah.
Yeah. You have any other questions for me?
And I don't really, that's not how I do the podcast really. So I don't really bring questions. I used to bring questions a lot when I was just starting out, because I didn't know anything about the like podcasting, you know, like I was like, how do people interview? Like, I remember, you know, watching the Tonight Show or something, like people would have questions, right? And I was like, okay, is that how people do it? And eventually I got to a point where I was so comfortable just talking to someone that the conversation without the questions was the interview. That's cool. Yeah. So I don't really know what what question to ask you. So let me think.
You like traveling?
I do. I do love traveling.
Have you been out of the country?
Yeah, I have a few times. I'm grateful to travel. I've been to Europe, countries in Europe.
I've always wanted to go to Europe.
Yeah,
Damn.
Europe. I've been to England, Italy, and France, I think, so far. And
for like family or
just a vacation with family.
With family?
Yeah.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah,
it's cool.
so that was a few years ago. But yeah, traveling is amazing. Just to experience different cultures. Like you might not realize it, but we're in this like bubble.
We are such a bubble. Yeah.
Like wherever you live, you're in your own bubble.
Yeah.
And you don't know what life is like outside of that bubble until you go and experience it. Like while you're there, you're like, okay, people live way differently. And
so different. Last year I went to the Philippines because my mom's Filipino.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's a whole different culture out there. It's like 180 from out here.
Yeah.
It's wild, but it's cool like to like learn about different cultures and like because there's always like new things you learn, like new foods, whatever, just like different beliefs. It's just like so cool to just learn new things. I'm always so interested in that.
It is, yeah. I mean, yeah, like I said, stepping outside of your bubble is like stepping outside of your comfort zone, right? Like if you're not used to this environment.
I was scared at first.
Yeah, if you're not used to this environment, you're like, I don't know how I should interact with people. You know, I don't want to, be disingenuine to their culture and anything.
Language barriers and everything.
Language barrier, yeah, and all that. So when I travel, especially to a different country, I try my best not to be a tourist. I try my best to just blend in. Like whatever culture that they have, I want to be a part of. Yeah. I'm not going to try to bring my shit of Americans, whatever, to that part of the world, like blend in with their culture because you have to respect, their and it's cool to ideas. Just like live it too. Cause like, we are in a bubble out here. Every day is the same out here. It was really therapeutic too, like to be out there. Cause like, it really just reminded me of how grateful we actually live out here. Yeah. We're so like privileged and like lucky to like live in like this area. Like it's so nice. It's crazy. Yeah, you look at most people around the world and they live in unsuitable areas like that. We would think like how do people live like this, right? But then you live there and you like you're instilled in the culture and you're like, oh, it's actually like they're like there's some of the happiest people you'll ever meet. Some of the happiest people ever. It's so cool. It's they're so happy. I know. Yeah, and it's heartwarming to see that. Like they have so little, but they'll give everything. They'll give you like if you come to somebody's house and they'll give you whatever food they have, whatever drinks so they have. Hospitable. Yeah. It's like, it's so cool out there. And it is. Yeah. And it inspires me to be that way. Like to see somebody in that position, they have so little, yet they give. And if I have what I have, I could give, just as whatever I have. Like it's, you don't have to have, millions of dollars in order to give. Like it's not even money that you had to give. It's your time. Yeah. You give your time, give your energy to somebody. Somebody just might need someone to talk to. Just be that person for them. And before I went to the Philippines, like I only knew, because it's my mom's side of the family, I only knew them from just like certain times when my mom would like FaceTime them. I didn't really know names to faces. Yeah. But when I was out there for like the 3 weeks I was out there, like I felt like I knew them like my whole life. Damn. Like it was just so like cool to like to know that I have like that other side of the family that's like really loving. I can go to with like, anything. There is like, it's like really like humbling, but like, cool experience. Cool experience. Yeah. It is, man. Like the Philippines, I haven't been there yet. How is that? Like just the weather, humid, hot, hot. Yeah. It'll be raining outside, but like 100 degrees. Yeah. Insane. It's tropical, right? Like, it's very tropical. Yeah. But they're so used to it. It's so insane. It's like nothing to them. Nothing. Yeah. There's, I know like I think the closest, that you're good. I think the closest representation might be like Hawaii, like that kind of tropical. It's kind of like the same. Like it is like a tropical vibe like that, like Hawaii. Yeah. Yeah. I've never been to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii though. I want to start traveling more. I just went to Vegas earlier this year. Like I'm just trying to branch out, go a bunch of places. Yeah. actually, speaking of traveling, next month I'm going to Japan for the first time. So
that's so sick. What? That's so cool.
I'm so excited for that. Like that, I've been not dreaming about it, but like just envisioning like Japan, because I've watched like movies in Japan.
Japan's
like
so intriguing. Like I love
all the anime stuff and all that. And
I like anime. Yeah.
And so to go there and experience that culture, like I'm just so excited. Like sushi, the food, the drinks,
have a great time. Dude. So Japan is such like a we have a lot of like sushi, anime, like a lot of stuff that we do out here. It's like, from Japan, like it's like
it penetrated our culture.
There we go. Yeah,
a lot.
Really did. It did a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and so to go there, I'm excited. And my dad's been there like 4 times now. Like he's been there for work and stuff, and so he's gonna take us around. Like he knows all the spots.
Man. Wow.
So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I love going to different countries. It's good to travel domestically too. Like I like going to different states, because the U.S. is so big. Like the U.S. can be split into like 5 countries. Bro.
I want to go to like the East Coast. Like I love like the East Coast vibe. Like and I want to like experience that. Yeah,
East Coast is. I recently went in 2021. I think December. I went to New York.
It's like one of my spots. I want to go. I want to go to New York.
New York is the city of dreams, man. Like that place. It's called the city that never sleeps, right?
Yeah. City never
and it's
sleeps.
like that, bro. It's like that. Like every night we'd stay up until like midnight and just like roam the streets.
Yeah.
Like every block has rows of city bikes, like bikes that you could just rent for like $5 or whatever. You take it out and you could bike anywhere. The city is so walkable and bikeable. I didn't take any cars there or Ubers, because all you could do is just like you hop on a bike and you could
just
bike the whole city, bro.
That's so cool.
It's amazing. And it was in December too. So it was like 40 degrees, but we didn't give a fuck. Like we just biked the whole city, the whole time. Like I think 40 miles that like in one day. There's like biking the whole thing.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's a lot.
It is. But it was so fun to just be able to do that, because you feel free. Like in that city, there's just the energy. You land in that. We landed in LaGuardia Airport, which is outside of Manhattan, in Queens, and so you land in that airport, and on the Uber ride to the hotel, it was nighttime, and you could see like the whole New York skyline. Like we went through like this one street, and you get on the bridge, and then you could see the whole skyline, and you're like, this is where dreams are made, man. Yeah. Like this is.
I always see those videos or pictures of the skyline. Oh, yeah, it's so beautiful.
It is beautiful, man. Like it's inspiring. That whole city, you see like whatever it is, 8 million people in that one island, like one peninsula of land, and they're just hustling, man. Like they're just on that grind.
On that grind, yeah.
Yeah, and it's might be like overwhelming to some people, but to me, it's just. No, there's something about it. There's
like the city vibe. I do. It like the hustle, like you said, that hustle, like vibe. That's why I like to say I like the fast paced kind of.
It's fast paced and it's like diverse. There's so many different people, so many different. You not only just ethnicity wise, but people that do different things. Like you might see an artist that paints, and a musician, and somebody who cooks at this restaurant. Like all those people are riding the subway all at once, like all doing different things, and they're just there together. Like all these cultures.
How is the subways in New York? Is it hectic like how it looks?
I think the day that we went, it wasn't that hectic because we didn't go at like whatever the 8 a.m. where people are commuting and stuff.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
But I would assume it would be that hectic pretty much every day because there are so many people in New York. And that's like the best way to transport or to get somewhere is the subway if you like live there. But we just wanted to experience the city, and so we biked everywhere because when you're on the subway, it's underground, so you can't like really see anything. You're just there to get from point A to point B. But while riding the bikes, you might be have a destination, but then you see some park or something that you might go into, and like you just veer off into different paths that you might not expect. Like one day we were gonna go to a Knick game. Like that night, we were going to a Knick game, and my cousin who grew up in Connecticut, and he came to New York to like show us around. He's been in New York like hundreds of times, but he showed us around, and we were biking to this like falafel place that was like, it's called Mahmoud's, I think. Mahmoud's.
That just sounds good.
Falafels.
Sounds
and
good.
yeah, so he's like, this like the best falafels in the city. I'm gonna take you guys. And we biked there. And what I didn't realize was it's like in this area where NYU is. NYU, so like it's like college students and stuff. And so we got our plates and we sat outside. And I sit down and I'm eating my falafels, and I look and I see this sign that says comedy cellar, meaning like it's a comedy venue where like comedians perform, like Dave Chappelle, all these great comedians, and it's like a world-renowned comedy venue. And here I was, like just right there. Like I've watched videos of people performing comedy in there for years. Like the
East Coast has so much as like that historical vibe.
Yeah, that's historical vibe.
That's why I love that. That's why I want to like go.
Yeah, and I saw that and I was like, holy shit, that's right there. Like I remember seeing those lights, and I didn't expect to see it. Like I thought it was in some other part of the city, but I was like, oh shit, like those are the lights.
That's the place from the video I watched.
Yeah, that's
like,
the
what?
video. Yeah, and then I made friends with like the security guard, and he's like, yo, come down anytime, whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's a fun vibe, man. That whole city is just booming with energy. Like the moment I stepped foot on the ground in that city, it felt like there was something like coursing through me that was like, just go out and move and get active. Like everybody's doing that.
Yeah, you can't be a homebody in New York.
No,
you're outside.
You're outside
for real. Yeah. I love like the people from New York.
What's that side talk video? Have you seen that?
Oh, it's like the
like that little kid. He's like we outside.
Yeah, I love that
video. New York's
in front of the deli, in front of like the little bodega, the little corner stores or whatever.
Yeah. So,
did you? How was like the food? Like
the food's amazing. Yeah, food is like world class. Like the best food.
Like the pizza's good out there.
Pizza.
Like is it like how they say?
It's really fucking good. Like really good.
Awesome. I want to try.
I mean, we had the slice too, like a regular New York slice, $1 slice, and that's amazing. But if you really want great pizza, there are a bunch of like Italian restaurants that make amazing pizza, like Neapolitan pizzas, where the crust is, or the dough is like, I've been to Italy and I've had like actually pizza from Naples, and it was like that. Like it was that level.
The best pizzas in the world.
The best quality, man. Like the cheese, the tomatoes, the sauce. It had the right amount of tang. It had everything that you would expect from a great pizza. And I think the first night we had pizza, like we landed at like 9 p.m. and had reservation, or not even reservations. We just walked into a restaurant that I thought that I looked up beforehand, and they're open until like 2 a.m. So you just walk in anytime, and we got a table and just like had a feast that first night, because we were so hungry.
In New York or Italy?
In New York, yeah.
In New York, oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So it was that trip was just amazing. Like I love that city, and I hope to go back. That was in the winter. I want to go in the summer this time.
I want to go to New York. I want to go to Atlanta too. I know it's like in the music, kind of like the music mecca of the world right now.
Yeah.
And I actually have a friend that has family out there, so I want to go to Atlanta too.
Yeah, I think I actually did go to Atlanta one time. I have family there as well, but I was a kid when I went, so I think we went to like the Coca-Cola factory, did all the tourist stuff. Yeah. But that was insane too. Like I didn't know Coca-Cola had like that big of a influence. Like not only do they own Coca-Cola, but they own like Sprite and all these other brands like worldwide, all the sodas. Like they had this massive room with I think 100 different sodas, and they own all of it. Like it's all different names and from different countries.
Damn.
And they own like all those assets.
They're an empire for sure.
They're a huge empire, bro. I was amazed, like to see like what the hell, this is insane. And you just get to try all of them. Like it's basically a museum. You go in there and they give you whatever Coke you want, and then you get there's this one room at the end. There's different, like they tell you the history of Coke, and they have like a vault there with the secret recipe of Coke. I don't even know if it's in there. It's probably not. It's just there, and you get to try all these different sodas from around the world. I don't even drink soda anymore, but it's just cool.
I drink water right here. Actually, I'm gonna take some water.
Yeah, water's the best, man. Like can't
it's
go.
so crazy. Something that tastes like nothing is like the best for you.
Yeah.
But it's so good. I love water.
Yeah, dude.
Especially cold water.
Cold water. Yeah. There's nothing like it. It's hydrating. It's like, I think we're 70% water, right? So it's an essential.
Water is like I can't imagine like someone that doesn't drink water. That's just wild. I actually used to be kind of like that. I used to work at KFC, and like I used to always drink soda. So like that's why like I try to stay away from it, because like I know it's so bad for you.
Yeah, it is. I think in America, it's so normalized that everybody just drinks it.
It comes with every meal, advertised everywhere, full aisles dedicated to just soda. It's actually insane.
Yeah, it's insane. Like when I travel, nobody drinks soda like at a restaurant or something, like in different countries. They're not drinking soda. They're drinking water.
Water, yeah. Exactly.
And so that's how it should be. But, I think it's our choice at the end of the day. Like you have the option of drinking soda. Like it's easy to do that. But are you going to make the healthier decision and choose water instead?
Yeah.
And
and soda here and there, it's whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I try to drink only water. Mm-hmm. That's like the best. I'm always on the move too. Like I'm always like, I go to the gym or, play basketball. Water is like the best thing that keeps you hydrated. Yeah, water. And the... You drink bottled water, or do you have like a filter machine, or how do you...
At home, I have like this, not a filter machine. We get our water from this water place that has... I forget what it's called, like a reverse osmosis machine.
Yeah.
So it does that, like that water.
I have one of those machines at my house actually. Uh-huh. Yeah, and like right now we need to get a new filter. So I've been drinking bottled water for a little. Yeah. But yeah, like we have one of those machines at my house, and like just drinking that water too is just like it just. Like having easy access is just like makes it even easier to just only drink water too. To drink like quality water. Water, yeah.
It's so you don't realize how important the water is to us until you like drink
like better quality
water. Yeah. You feel better because of that water, and you realize like they say you are what you eat, and it's the same thing with what you drink. Like you are what you put into your body. And so if you choose the healthier option, same thing with eating, actually, like I've always been good at eating healthy, but I've been more consistent with it. And I realize like my energy is always at a high level because of that.
I feel like I don't know how to eat healthy. I feel like I eat too healthy when I try to eat healthy. So it's like bad for me. I don't know. Like I feel like I'm not having like enough like sodium or something. Like I'm like eating too healthy.
Yeah. Do you eat like Filipino food at all?
Not as much recently. Cause I used to live with my grandparents, but like we don't live with them anymore. So there's not that much Filipino food getting circulated around the house anymore. But I'll have it here and there.
Yeah. Cause I heard like they eat pretty healthy over there. Like
it's like a lot of fresh vegetables and like fish. It's like a lot of fresh stuff. That's what makes it healthier. But they do have their unhealthy stuff.
Yeah,
too.
They have their unhealthy, Jollibee stuff like that. Yeah.
I didn't eat before I came here, so like this food, I'm Jollibee sounds so good. There's actually a Jollibee's on the way back to my house.
Thinking, all right, I'm gonna plan that out. Go there.
Yeah, that's so cool. That's funny.
Yeah,
oh my
dude.
Gosh.
Yeah, it's important to eat healthy, man. Like I didn't think it was that big of a deal until I got a little bit older and realized.
How old are you?
22. Yeah.
Oh, you're 22?
Yeah.
Dog, what the hell? I thought you were like 27.
Seven, really?
Maybe 27.
Damn, do I look that old?
No, it's just like you're so like intellectual. Like, I don't know, you just don't act like a 22-year-old.
Yeah,
because I know some 22-year-olds.
They're somewhere else.
They're somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like, you're like so like, goal oriented. You just seem like you have everything you should together.
Thank you, bro.
I don't know, so it's just like you seem older.
I've always felt older. That's the thing. Like I never felt my age. Like when I look around at when I was in like school, like elementary school or middle school, there were kids that were like just causing havoc and doing dumb shit.
Yeah.
And not to say that I wasn't a kid and I didn't do dumb shit myself, but like I always felt more mature. Yeah. In a way.
And even if you were doing dumb shit, you probably like learned fast from it too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was me. Like I always got along with like older people like growing up. So that's how I knew I was like mentally like older, Like I'm 24.
24, yeah.
So people say I look like 20 though. Like,
you look young.
I'll take it, honestly.
Yeah.
I'll take it. I just can't grow facial hair. I'm trying to grow. I just can't grow facial hair. It's so hard.
It's actually hard to maintain. Like if I know you have a little bit right there, but
a little. I use like some like foam too to try. This is not like natural, or it is natural, but like I'm using like product to make it grow faster.
Make it grow. Yeah.
It's like,
for me, it's the opposite. Like I started growing facial hair when I was like in like freshman year, of high school, like early.
Damn.
And I had to like learn how to shave. My dad was like teaching me how to shave, and I've been growing. I think I haven't clean shaven in 3 or 4 years. Like I haven't clean shaven at all, and I always try to keep it like this is probably as big as I'll let it grow.
Okay.
And then I trim it down to like a stubble. And, And I don't like ever clean shave it, but I don't. For me right now, I don't like it to be like too big either, because then it gets itchy.
It's hard to maintain.
Yeah, like
that's how I feel with my hair. Like, cause I just like I just took it out. I had it in like twists. Yeah. And I just took it out, and like I'm always sweating at work, so like it's like hard. Like I can only imagine like having a beard too.
A beard, yeah,
oh my gosh, yeah.
It's I like it. I like the aesthetic of it.
Yeah.
But to maintain
me too,
it,
man. Me too.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
Yeah, there are people like my cousin. He still can't like grow that much of facial hair. He's like, I wish I could grow facial hair. I'm like,
yeah, but you're like, no.
Yeah,
you're probably lucky.
You're lucky. I mean, I like it. Yeah. I'm glad I can. I have the option, because if you can, then you could shave it. But if you don't, then you're like, I want facial hair or whatever.
What like ethnicity are you? Like, are you
Indian? Yeah.
Indian?
Yeah.
Oh, damn! I would have not guessed that. Really? Actually.
What would you have guessed?
Just like Middle Eastern or something.
Middle Eastern?
Yeah.
Close.
Damn.
Yeah.
That's actually crazy. Wow,
Yeah.
what the hell? That's crazy.
Yeah. So both my parents are actually from India. I was born here though. I was born in California. So like first generation.
They're from India?
Yeah.
Both that's so cool.
Yeah.
First generation. Yeah, my mom's from the Philippines. So like I'm like the first generation. Like I'm like out of her whole family, I'm like the only one that's like from America.
Oh yeah. You were born here as well?
I was born here, yeah.
Okay.
I was born like in Laguna Beach,
Yeah.
Laguna Hills or whatever.
Yeah. So it's been a long journey, I think, for them. Like it's crazy when you're to see like an immigrant, like their story of like I think my dad came when he was 16. Like he didn't even know the language.
It went to a different. That's wild to me too.
Yeah.
Like they come at such a young age to like a whole. That's like me. That's like me moving to the Philippines.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That's wild, bro. That's wild.
Exactly.
That's like so much kudos to them. Like for taking the risk. And then adapting to like this. Like they're like what do they feel about you doing like the podcast and all that?
They feel, I think, proud in a way, in a sense, and also just like glad that I'm pursuing my own thing. Like I'm not like just following this path, and it's scary. Yeah. Like to not do like something that's super secure. Yeah. Right. But as long as they know that my heart's in it, they know that what I'm doing is what like, this is my like dream and heart and soul and passion is in this, and it's guided by that. And so, and look, when you're a parent or when you're young and you want to have a better life for your kids, right? Like that was their mission in coming here, right? To give me and my brother a better life. and their family, right? So my dad came when he was like 16, didn't know the language, went to Connecticut, like went to high school there, went to college there, and, you know, started working and moved to California. Like one time he came here for vacation and was like, this is way better. Like the weather here and everything. He's like, I gotta live here.
Connecticut is like cool.
Yeah, exactly. So he's like, I gotta get out of Connecticut. And so he moved here.
That's so cool. Thing.
Yeah. And so that's how we got to California. And so I was born and raised here, and I've been so fortunate to have like the family that I have, like not only my parents, but all my uncles, my cousins, my aunts, like all of us are really close. And that unit has helped me so much in my life, just to have that support system always there. Nice, yeah. And so, like that's been inspiring, and it's helped me have the courage to go after and do what I want. Like it takes a certain level of, your own judgment to like go after your dreams, but it's also like I got that from them. Like I got that, like if they could do that, if they could have the courage to go out and go to a different country and do all this and to see from where they came from, like they didn't grow up with much, and to see the life they built, I could do just as much. Like I could do something with my life if they could do that.
Yeah, like
you know?
that's like the ultimate like sacrifice. I feel like just like moving to a different place for like, you know, you were born here, right? Also,
born here.
Okay, so yeah, like that's just like so like wild to me, like how you could just change.
They take that risk,
that risk, yeah.
And at a point where like, you know, back then there wasn't no internet
was there like a specific reason why Connecticut or?
He had his uncle was there, and that's how he came to America, like on a because his uncle sponsored him to come. Like he's the youngest out of 5 brothers, and so when he was 16, he was the first person to go. Like out of all of his brothers, he was the first to go, and that was like his first flight too, like his first flight he's ever been on. Yeah. To a different country, and that was a one-way ticket to here to Connecticut.
Wow, that's so inspiring. What the heck?
Yeah. So I'm proud of him, and I'm proud of everything that our family has done, you know, and just continuing that forward, you know.
Yeah, it's similar with my mom. Like, you know, she's from the Philippines, and like everything there is like school, become an engineer. My mom's actually she's a civil engineer. Damn, if I get that wrong, she's gonna be so mad.
She's like, you should know this.
Because I know it's mechanical engineer or civil engineer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's civil engineer. But yeah, no, you know, in the Philippines, it's like go to school, become an engineer, doctor, whatever. And so like just seeing how supportive she is with like my music and everything. Because obviously like she wants, you know, she would love if I went to school and did like the traditional, like become a doctor or whatever. Yeah. But she's so supportive of my music. She knows like how big that could like, how big it can get, you know, like it's not how it used to be, like, you know, so rare for you to like make it out doing music or whatever.
Yeah, now it's definitely changed for sure.
So if anything, it's so super saturated nowadays. Yeah. Everyone's doing it. So she knows how big it can get, and she knows that's what I love to do. It's my passion, everything, like how you were saying.
When it's in your heart, you just know.
You just know.
Like,
and she sees that from me. Like I was telling her, like I'm doing like a podcast today. She's like, I can't wait to watch it. Like she's super hands-on. Amazing, man. Like, she's always listening to my music. She's always posting it. She's always like sharing it. She's super supportive. Like I love it. That's
what you need, and especially in the beginning when like your belief is the only thing that's going, right? Yeah. Like that's what has to be strong. And when other people like your parents or your friends start to believe in you, like that gives you an extra boost of confidence to keep going. You know? I'm
so grateful. Like, from even my friends, they're so supportive too. Like I actually, one of my friends is the one that got me into music, and he's like super supportive. Like he's always there, always meeting me or introducing me to new people, like connections. It's just so like, it's just good to have like that support system. Like we said earlier, like, you know,
people are so important, and it's, I think we take it for granted a lot of the times, and we don't see that. And so when we think about it, it gives you a new sense of appreciation. Yeah. But
at the same time, it is good to have people that like, you know, question you or like kind of doubt you, because it just gives you that fuel to just like be better, you know, like, you know, it's like you have to have both sides.
You gotta have both.
Yeah,
because it does build you, because you want to get to a state where you're undeniable.
100%. Yeah, because I always say, like, I wanted to get to the point where they have to listen to my music.
Exactly.
Like I grew up.
That's what success is. Like,
yeah,
that it's not in the money or fame or any of that. When you develop yourself to the point where you're undeniable at what you do, it doesn't matter. Like, the success comes because you've built yourself up to that point.
You build yourself up, everything comes. Everything comes. Yeah, everything. That's why I always like tell people, like, you know, just focus on like yourself. You can't love or do anything else if you don't love yourself. If you don't like know how to handle yourself or love yourself, everything else is going to be so much harder.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And that's what I've learned, you know, like, I used to be kind of like dependent on like other people and like just like needing them to like kind of validate me so I can be happy. But like the last, like, ever since COVID, like ever since like 2020, ever since 2020, like just being like locked in the house kind of like molded me to be
more resilient,
like independent, I know what makes me happy. So like, I'm just going to like go with that, you know?
Yeah. That's so powerful. Like, that's what I want for everybody, man. Like, to have the courage to do what makes you happy. Like, and to believe that it's possible for you to do what makes you happy, because the world needs more people like that. The world is full of people that have the desire to do stuff. Everybody, and I'm telling you, every single person is capable of living the life they want.
100%.
Everybody. There's no shortage of potential, of capability for people. But what limits them is fear. What limits them is other people's opinions. What limits them is all these excuses they build, or this facade that's there because so many people haven't taken that chance.
Yeah.
And their environment, the people around them haven't taken that chance. And so to look at what everybody else has done and see, like, oh, you know what? Nobody else has done this. Yeah. Can I even do it? Of course you can. Of course you can. Like, there is no doubt. You could do
anything, bro. You know? Like, it could be the wild that you have to be a little delusional, you know, sometimes.
I don't even believe in delusion. Like, nothing is impossible, bro.
Exactly.
Nothing.
Yeah. You know, like you just have to, like, you put your mind to it. And you really work hard. Hard work always pays off, you know, like,
it does.
If you really put your mind to it and work hard, like, you can really accomplish a lot.
And you ask people that are at that place, like, if you
and they say the same, all of them say the same thing. Work hard, like, you know, do you, don't change. Like they all say the same thing.
They all say the same thing. Like, it's, if you told me then that I would do this, I would say, like, it's crazy. You know, like that if you look at like Drake to see where he's at, and if you listen or you look at pictures of him on Degrassi or something, like, that kid now sells out every stadium he does.
I'm actually going to see Drake next month.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I'm going to Vegas on the 2nd to see Drake.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I was going to bring up Drake earlier because I used to always listen to all the hate comments back then about Drake. So I never listened to Drake, but it got to the point where, like, you have to listen to Drake.
Yeah. Undeniable.
I love Drake.
That's undeniable. When you become undeniable, it doesn't matter. Like, the radio's playing it. Every club you go to is still playing it. It doesn't matter. Like, everyone knows Drake because he's just that good at his craft and that good at becoming the best version of himself. Yeah. He's the only reason he's at where he's at is because he's constantly evolving, constantly changing. Constantly.
Even though
that's the
people
reason
are criticizing it, constantly evolving.
Constantly.
I love it. That's why I actually love Drake more on that than I love his music a lot too. But like, I love how he moves, his business stuff. I just love that. That's what I really love about Drake.
It is
how he moves and just how he carries himself.
How he carries himself. That's why he's so successful, because to be successful, like, he was already a successful artist, like, in 2015, but to do that for the longevity that he's done it at.
Exactly.
That's
undeniable in itself.
That's undeniable.
You can't be that big for 10, 15 years if you're not, like, you know, good at what you're doing.
Exactly. And constantly improving that. Like, he's been at the top so many times. It's easy to sit back when you're at the top and say, you know what, I did it. Yeah. This was the dream, right? I did it. Yeah. But can you continue to top even that?
Yeah.
Can you continue to grow past that? That's like next level stuff. Like most people don't do that.
Well, like we were talking about before the cameras were on, like everything's constantly evolving, changing. Like there's really no limit to like what it is. So, and Drake's so good at like assimilating to like whatever the new is. So it's like he honestly can be big forever. Honestly,
forever.
Like,
yeah.
I can't, it's crazy. I like anyone who's saying that like you can't, anyone who's saying it's like luck or whatever, like those are the people that don't make it. Those are the people that didn't make it. The ones that are like, oh, you need luck, or like you need to like do this, or like you need to like, there's like a certain, like I what I heard recently was like someone was like, they were trying to convince me to like go back to school and like just do like something else, like just in case like music doesn't work out. Yeah. But like I don't know, like one thing I always play in my head is like, if you have a plan B, you don't believe plan A is gonna work. And like I just like, I know my music is like so gravitational. Like people gravitate towards my music. Yeah. And I don't know, I just see something there. Yeah. And like a lot of people like it.
You gotta
like,
see it in yourself first.
I see it. And
there was artist Russ. You probably heard of him.
I have his book.
Yeah.
I love that book.
He had this. He was on a podcast and he said the best advice I've ever received is, what if it could be better than you could ever imagine?
I literally had that quote like written down. I love that quote.
That's the best advice.
What happens if you could be bigger than you imagine?
Yeah.
And then someone was like, what happens if you aren't? And I'm just like, that's just the mindset of someone who didn't make it.
Yeah.
Like
people only say that because they're expressing their own limitations.
Exactly.
That's it. They wouldn't say that if no successful person, like if Drake came in here right now, he'd tell you to keep going. Like, why would he tell you to stop? Right?
Exactly.
Why
would you listen to someone who didn't make it?
Exactly.
Like, for real. That's like, because like that's like the phase or kind of the stage of my life I'm in right now. Like, you have like I'm like 24. Like you have to like, I'm kind of in a part where like it's never too late to do what you want to do. But like I'm in a part of my life where I'm like, damn, like people are in my ear about like, oh, you should like have something to fall on or like this and that. And like, I don't know, like those conversations never, I don't agree with it. Like I just know like I have something good and I'm going to keep going.
Yeah. Just keep going. And you never know when the time comes. Like you just never know.
It literally takes one, like nowadays you've seen like a bunch of artists like arise. It literally takes one song. It's like that one song could change your whole life. Yeah. Like it's true. Crazy, man.
Yeah. And you never know unless you keep going. And that's why the purpose has to be greater than anything else. Like why you do your thing has to be at the forefront, because all those voices are going to come, either voices from other people and voices from your own mind. Yeah. And when you're set upon that intention of creating this thing, it has to be so clear that none of it matters. Like you're not phased.
Do you do like the podcast and stuff for other people? It's probably a combination of everything, but is it like, do you have it for like, do it for other people to like go to when they're like down, or do you do it for yourself, like to vent?
In the beginning, I did it because I wanted to inspire people. And that was my main thing. Like I had this idea for creating it because first off, I enjoyed listening to it. Like I enjoyed listening to a podcast, and I was like, damn, this is actually fun to listen to. It is. And I was like, I need to do something I love, right? Like in my life, I said, I need to find my purpose so that I'm not doing what I don't want to do. That 30 years from now, I could have done something that made me happy every day. And instead I didn't work on myself. I didn't put in the time, and now I'm doing something that I don't want to do. And so I said, okay, if I'm going to do what I love every day, then I have to find what I love. Right? Like you don't know that in the beginning.
You don't. Yeah. I used to want to be in the NBA. That was my goal in high school. I played basketball in high school, and like I used to wake up at 5 a.m. every day, shoot around like at a little basketball court by my house. I used to like,
same. Like when I was a kid, I was like, I played basketball every fucking day because I was just like, I want to, make it big with basketball.
Yeah. That was like my dream. I wanted to be in NBA. And then I don't know, things, throughout life, especially in your early ages, like your ambitions like change, and like, I don't know, music was just something I always liked. Even with wanting to be in the NBA, I always liked music. I like how it could just like it could just change like yesterday I was feeling so down at work, and I listened to my favorite artist is NBA Youngboy. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
He's like my favorite artist, and he's just like so transparent in his music, and I don't know, just like music just changes your mood. There's just so much power in music.
Does,
I just love it. I just love like everything about it. So like I think like after high school I started gravitating more towards like taking music seriously, and like I started seeing like other people, like one of my friends cried to one of my songs, and I'm like, damn, that's crazy, and like it helped him, like it was like therapeutic for him. So like
that's when you know music is powerful.
Especially
like,
then at that moment I was like, I know like music's what I want to do, like this is what I want to do, like 100%.
Yeah, dude, that's amazing, man. And like for my life, the moment that like one of the worst moments for me, like at that time, like when I was in high school, was I got cut from my basketball team, right? Like I was like, this is the worst. This is the worst thing that's ever happened. And what I didn't realize, like we talked about before.
What high school did you go to?
Villa Park High School.
Oh,
yeah. So I think we talked about this before. Was you don't see the good in those bad moments, right? And to this day, like I realized that's the best thing that could have ever happened to me. That is the best fucking thing that could ever happen to me, because what that allowed me to do was, instead of like my heart wasn't completely in basketball. Like I didn't even want to be at practice most of the times.
Yeah.
Right.
It got to that point with me too.
Yeah. Like I enjoy playing basketball. I still play basketball to this day.
Exactly.
But I wasn't that committed to do it for life. Like I wasn't, I didn't want to become like a professional in it. And so at that moment, like it shifted everything for me, because that time that I would usually spend towards basketball, I spent reading books. I spent reading and watching YouTube videos, and started learning about different things. And so that time allowed me to grow. Like those, 1 or 2 years of not playing basketball allowed me to grow so much as a person in that time, because my energy wasn't going towards that anymore. It was being aligned to something else now. And like one thing led to another, and, things just panned out that way,
Yeah. It's crazy how life works. Same with me. Like I played basketball the first 3 years of high school. And then like junior year, that's when I started going out, partying and stuff. And that's when I kind of drifted away from basketball. But like, honestly, that was like I look back at it, I'm like, I learned, I met a lot of new people, like doing the shenanigans I was doing. But like, it's just so crazy, because like I was already connecting without even like trying, back then. And it just like opened me up to like a whole new world of just like connecting and like networking and stuff. Like, I don't know, like if I was still playing basketball, or if I still try to do it even in college, like I would have never started music, and I would have never been on this path. It's just like things happen for a reason. Things happen, man.
Things happen. And you never can know that next thing. Like we always want to know.
That's why you just have to live in the moment, for real. Like,
Yeah, we want to know. We want to know, but then you realize that would make life just boring. If you knew everything that was going to happen in your whole life down to the second, it would be boring as fuck.
Something about uncertainty.
Uncertainty. Yeah.
Uncertainty.
Yeah.
Something about that, just like, that's what I get excited for. Like, just what's next? Like, obviously you prepare, like you have goals and stuff, but like that uncertainty is like
the how it's going to happen is completely up to God, like you never know. You never know. Like I didn't know how I was going to start a podcast. I just said I was going to start one. And I did.
My friend came over to my house one random day and was like, "Yo, I got this new garage band. Like, I got this mic. Let's do something." I recorded the song.
Yeah.
Right there. Like, I was like, "What the heck?" Now, like, here I am. Like, what the heck's going on?
Exactly. And you never know what that thing is or how it's going to happen. But as long as you're true to yourself, it always works out. Always. Like, never. It just doesn't fail. Like, even if you think it's failing in the moment, just know that it's not the end yet.
Oh yeah, no, especially with like this, like you could like podcasting, you could like do it forever. Like you're always growing, even if you have some like plateau moments. That one viral clip or like that one guest could change everything. You know, it's like
And for me, it's more about like the person I become too. Like I'm more proud of who I've become in the journey than just like the achievements.
It's the journey, huh? Yeah, the journey. I say that too.
The person I've become, like the skills I've learned, the knowledge I've learned, the people I've met, like doing hundreds of episodes, you meet a bunch of people, you learn a bunch of things about not only them, but about yourself. Right. And all of that has accumulated to this. Like, I'm glad I took that chance, or that I take chances in general. Like I started a clothing brand. I started a bunch of things. I make videos and do all sorts of different dreams that I have. Like I'm always taking action on those and not limiting myself to just one thing that I had to just do this. No, I'm doing as much as I can because I want to grow to a point where you get to that state where you're undeniable. Like you walk into a room and people like look over and see like, damn, this guy's different. Exactly. This guy's just like, this is somebody else. Yeah,
that's what I'm really working on right now too. Like just being different. Like I kind of naturally do it, but you know, sometimes you get caught up in like what's like big or what's like trending, and like you try to do it, and like I try to like be different. That's like the biggest.
Yeah, be authentic.
Be authentic. Yeah, at the same time. Yeah. Be authentic.
That only comes from within. Like it's not. It doesn't come from doing any trends or doing any of that. Exactly. Like it's the more authentic I become, the more pain I have to go through, like the more suffering that I have to experience, because
more adversity you go through.
Yeah, the more adversity, because it's not even negative things. It's you're perceiving it as negative, and you got to become aware that why am I perceiving life at that level? Why am I perceiving it? And the more you become aware of it, it immediately turns positive, because who we are just within us is love. Who we are just emanates love. And there are life experiences that can be negative that we have to experience just to shine that love on it. And once you put awareness, once you put love on something that's negative, just like you walk into a dark room and turn on a light, it goes away. You don't have to tell darkness to get out. Yeah. And you don't have to tell hate to get out. Just bring love.
I actually like that. I like that way of looking at it. That's cool. Yeah.
You don't have to put any effort into it. It's just, you are love by itself. There's just things that are blocking it. You just got to let it go. And immediately the authenticity comes out. Like the less I try, in a way, like that's like Buddhism philosophy is the less you try, the more you get out. The more you get out. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you always hear those stories of people saying like, oh, like I'm gonna use like a music example, like oh, like I did this song 15 minutes, like it was like whatever, and that's like their biggest song. Yeah, it's always like the things that you try the least on is like you get the greatest like effect from it.
Yeah, like, it's true, because I think too many of us get in our own ways. Yeah, get in our own head, overthink the process, and think that we have to do something, like we have to like work and but it's really, I think there was a great speaker that said, in every moment we are being done. Like we think that we're doing something, but really we're all part of a grand play. Like, and it's, I think Alan Watts said that, he said, if aliens were to come down to Earth, they would see humans just like we see ants. Like if ants were, in an ant pile, oh, they're just being ants. They're building their colony or whatever. And if people came here, or if aliens came here, they would see, oh, humans are just being humans.
Damn, you believe in aliens?
I do, but not in like those movie aliens where it's like all those different faces and shit. But like, I think there's definitely life.
There has to be life.
There has to be.
The universe or galaxy or whatever is too big.
It's too big not to have it.
I think they've even had or found planets or just other galaxies that could inhabit life. Or like I've seen
it could, yeah.
Like it's just crazy, like how
we know nothing about space.
We're just like, a little speck of dust compared to everything.
Nothing, but that's what makes it perfect too. Yeah. Like us, if we weren't here, it wouldn't be perfect. Yeah, it wouldn't be what it is. Damn. And so, like, yeah, the universe. They recently they recently did a study with like the James Webb Telescope, and the prior assumption was that the universe was 13 billion years old, right? So somewhere around there, 13 billion. And now they realized that it's actually 27 billion years old. Like they did this with this new telescope. They're like, oh wait, that galaxy is further away than what we expected, right? And so to me, I think the universe is infinite. Like I don't think that there's like an end like in sight. Like, yeah. That's wild. Yeah, we can't even wrap our minds around that.
I'm like trying to wrap my mind around it.
You can't wrap around. Infinite's not even, nobody can even like, you can't think of infinite, because no matter, like the way I see it is, or the way I had it explained to me was, if you were on an infinite plane, right? Like an infinite plane, and you were the only thing on that plane, and you were the center, right? Like in that moment, you're the center of that infinite thing. If you took 1,000,000 steps in any direction, you would still be the center.
In the same center.
Because all sides are infinite.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there's no point, no matter how many steps you take in any direction, you'll always be the center, because there's no way that you could be any closer to any end, because there is no end.
That's crazy to even think about.
That is fucking crazy.
It is wild how huge it is. It's just crazy how everything on Earth is just like it's perfect to our standard. Like the weather, like how far the sun is. Like if the sun was just a little bit closer, we'd burn, or farther, we'd freeze. Like it's so crazy. Everything's so perfect.
I believe this more than anything, is that there's an energy that is everything. Like it's in.
That's why I believe so much.
Things.
I believe so much in energy. You know.
It's this energy that is in all things, and we have gotten to this point where we think that we're separate from it. People think that they have this own identity of who they are. Like, I'm somebody else. I'm Shyam Ronvelia. Like I'm somebody that's not that. But in fact, that's an idea. That name, any person's name is an idea. It's not who you are. Any the clothes you wear, or any of that stuff, like it's not who you are.
It's like your energy, or
it's not who you are. It's an idea you have, and that idea is not reality. Ideas can be changed. Just like every word I'm saying is, the reason you can understand me is because you believe in that idea.
Yeah.
But if somebody said that we're gonna have a whole new language and everybody's gonna shift to that, then that's the new idea.
Yeah.
But ideas can change, and there's an energy that doesn't change. That's always just underneath everything. That's in everything, that controls everything. And for us as humans, we experience it when we let go of that identity of who we are. When you're in the moment of something, that's when that energy rises. Like when you sing a song and you're solely in the present moment, you're not thinking about anything, that's when that energy is present. Because it's pure love. Like it's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah. You think that you're imperfect, but those are ideas. Those are false. Like it's not real. Who you are is perfect. There is nothing wrong. No matter what happens, there's nothing wrong with anything in the entire universe. At all times, nothing's wrong.
Yeah, it's just all what you think.
It's what you think, and you let go of the idea, even of good. Let go of the good of everything. Just be without any idea, any thoughts, and you'll know what God is in that moment.
Do you meditate or do any like?
I don't meditate in the sense of like sitting down and just closing my eyes and stuff like that. But I've recently been able to like go to a place within myself at any moment. Just I could switch something on and go beyond thought. And that's what meditation is. Meditation isn't really like you're doing anything.
Yeah.
It's not about doing. It's not about like trying not to do. It's like an in between of just not doing, and your mind is idle to the point where you have some separation between your thoughts. Like you get to a place where you're separate.
Yeah.
And you don't completely identify with every thought that you think, because most of the time we're thinking of the past or we're thinking of the future, and we're so absorbed in that we're using our present energy, where we're at. Like nothing's happening now,
on
but
past or future
we're,
stuff.
we're living somewhere else. Nothing's
know.
happening now, but we're living somewhere else, and we're feeling those emotions of the past and future.
That's good. That's what I have to tap into when like I do music, when I write music and stuff. You tap into like feeding off energy from like the past or the future, and it's like it could be dangerous territory sometimes, you know.
Yeah, and when meditation is becoming aware of that and understanding that not to change it. Meditation is not about like stopping thought. You can't stop thought. It's something that's beyond. It's something that so it's hard. Not you. It's not you. It's something else that just keeps on going. But when you're aware of it, you take a step back, and now you could see that, oh wait, that's not me. That thought that I just had about myself, that's not me. These ideas, these concepts, that's not me. I'm actually beyond that. And that realization gets you to a place where you're solely in the present moment. And that's where like all creativity stems from. Like Rick, I think who was it? Rick Rubin or not Rick? Rick Rubin, who's a producer, or he wrote this book. I forget what it's called. It's like Creative Minds or something like that, about creativity. And he talks a lot about how that when you get to a place within yourself, like that creativity happens naturally. You don't have to, creativity isn't something that you force. It's not something that you have to work natural, on. Yeah. It's just, it emanates out of you when you get to a certain place. Yeah. It's the only thing that happens. Yeah. Like you don't have to pressure it in any direction. It's just natural.
That's like when I'm writing music, like I try not to force anything. Like I always try to like just let my natural like energy, natural creativity just like come out, which is most case what happens, and it's like a beautiful thing. It's so natural, and it's like it flows well, you know. Like whenever I'm forcing anything, that's when like I have trouble, you know. Anytime,
like that's what I'm saying. Like we get in the way of it. You think that you're helping yourself by doing that. You think that if I work and try to do things and force it, but really the universe knows exactly what to do. It knows the whole plan, it knows your whole life completely. Scripted in every way. Like infinite realities, like things that we can't even imagine. But like I think about that a lot. Like the chance of me meeting you, like even that, like how's that happen?
It's so crazy because everyone because I met O'Neal at the Sports Center, and that's just like a weekend job for me, and like it's, you know, it's like I really just do it because like I like basketball, I'm around basketball stuff, and I like the people that I work with. So I was always encouraged to like quit because like they're like, you don't need it, you should have your weekends off, you work so hard during the week, have the weekends to like do music stuff, you know. So I'm like, something, I always have like that built-in intuition. Like my intuition is really strong. And so I was like, you know, something about like me quitting just doesn't seem right. So like then literally the next shift I go to, O'Neal like mentions you guys, and I'm like, what the hell? It's crazy.
That is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's like, it's the
like
wild,
the chances of that happening.
So wild.
Like everything that everybody goes through. Like that's why when I look at strangers, like if I'm walking down the street, like I don't think of them as strangers, because you're like, what are the chances of me seeing this person? Like out of all the billions of people, like this person's here.
I know. It's so crazy. I had this conversation with my sister. I was like, we go to a lot of public places all the time. You hardly run into like the same person twice. Like there's so many people in this world. It's so crazy. Like, and it's just wild. Like, what are the odds that you like saw this person? Like, it's just wild. Like the odds are crazy.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It tripped me out. Like when O'Neal was like, he said, yeah, like my homie has like a podcast. Like you should get on it. Cause I was telling him, I was like, I want to branch out and do like interviews or podcasts or whatever. And he was like mentioning, I was like, that's crazy.
That's crazy. And now we're here.
It's just like little things too. I'm like, I'll just like, my intuition just so strong. Like I'll like, it'll be as simple as like going to the gym. Like something would just tell me just to go to the gym. And I went to the gym and I met one of my videographers there.
Damn.
It's like the wildest thing. Like and now like he's like, it's just crazy how life works sometimes, man.
Yeah, you can't really put it into words sometimes.
You can't. And like people question my intuition like sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know, man. I can't even answer. Like it's just how I feel. Like it's just like a feeling. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. When you're in tune with it, like nothing, no other voice, no other person's opinion even matters. Like you just trust it. Like even your own thoughts, you're like, no, I trust. I trust it. Yeah.
And sometimes I'll go against the trust, and like I'll try to like go like be devil advocate, and like something happens crazy. I'm like, oh,
yeah,
should have did this, should have did that. It's wild. Dude, honestly, wild. It's kind of scary. Like my intuition's kind of strong, man.
Yeah, man.
It's actually scary.
That's amazing, man. Yeah, it's fucking amazing.
Like I could honestly go on for hours on like just like little things that's happened to me, of just little like feelings I had, and how it like became, it expanded to like something like bigger. Yeah, it's just wild, man. Like during COVID, I remember, so like everyone was like not working, like, so like I was unemployed, and I remember my friend got me this job at this Nike warehouse, and it wasn't it for me. Like it was repetitive. You're like it was just like a depressing job to me. Yeah. So I just like my intuition just like told me to just like leave. So I quit, and I just told myself I was like, I'm gonna drive around Ladera, and I'm just gonna like see what's up, what's good. Mm-hmm. That's when I started working at the sports center. Damn. Like I just like drove to like a random back street, and I found the sports center. I'm like, oh, it's a basketball gym. Like, I love basketball. I was like, I'm gonna apply there. But it's so crazy. I've gained so many relationships from the sports center. Yeah. Including O'Neal. Like it's just insane. Like how like life works.
Life works. Man. Yeah. You never know how it's gonna play out. But then the moment you go through like all those feelings of doubt, right? Life shows you. Like,
and you doubt yourself too, like a lot of the times, and like you have to like
And then like life just shows you're doubting yourself now, but look at what just happened. Like
exactly,
and you look back and you're like, oh, all this had to work out.
Exactly. Yeah, I always trust me. Yeah, like whenever I have a feeling, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do it. Like I wasn't like I wasn't nervous to do this at all or anything. Like it just like felt right,
Felt right, man.
So and like
I know. I mean, how many hours has it been? It's been like hour 41.
Has it really?
Yeah, it's almost 4:30.
I was like thinking in my head, I was like, damn, it's probably been like an hour. Yeah. It felt like maybe like
almost 2 hours, bro.
That's crazy.
That's fucking crazy, bro.
And we were talking for like damn near an hour before.
Yeah, dude. Like pretty much, yeah. So it's like pretty much 2 hours. But man, that's insane.
How long do you often like do podcasts? Is it like
usually 2 hours? But I actually got to go at 5, so we're probably gonna have to wrap it up.
What time is it?
4:30.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. But
damn.
But bro, like, thank you for coming on.
Bro, it's honestly like in the beginning, I was like, because I remember O'Neal was telling me, he was like, you at first like the cameras might get to your head, but no, after like a little bit, it just like feels natural.
Yeah, because for me personally, like when I started, I was nervous as fuck, just like seeing cameras. I've never done anything, no microphones, and then eventually you get to a place where none of this even exists, and you're just there with a person.
Yeah, no, literally at one point I swear like it didn't even feel like I was talking to anything.
Exactly.
It was like so cool.
That's what you want.
And I want to get used to this because I know with music, I have to do like interviews and stuff like that. I just want to get used to this because I know like what comes with it, and like I want to be the biggest I can be. Yeah. At it. So
I hope this was a fun one. Like,
this is a great icebreaker to like a whole future and this. For you and me, honestly. This is good, bro. No, I'm like really impressed on like your setup and everything you got going on. Like,
appreciate it, man.
I love it.
I appreciate you, man, and glad you came on.
Of course.
And thank you everybody for listening. Hope you enjoyed it as well. You got a new single out. I forgot to mention that.
Yeah, I got a song out called "What I've Been On." It came out yesterday. Go stream it. It's on Apple Music, Spotify. I got a music video on YouTube. Yep. That just came out. And
I just watched that. It was amazing. Yeah. Dude, great visuals. Oh my Shout out to your videographer for that.
Shout out to Jack, honestly. It was really fun. Yeah. But yeah, we got more music on the way. Just stay tuned. And what is it? Follow me on Instagram. Ronnie J Official, RONNIE JAE.
I'll put that in the description.
You got it?
Yeah,
okay, cool.
Yeah, you know how to. It'll be there down in the description.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it so much, man.
Thank you, bro. And have a good one, guys. Peace.